So I think that my most impactful memory of the Michigan Theater was when I was a child, and my mom would always take us to go see concerts at the Michigan Theater, which I enjoyed. But I remember one day when my mom asked if I wanted to go see the movie Casablanca. And I was thrilled because Casablanca, my mom had a movie poster in her bedroom of Casablanca showing Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart. And I was thrilled that I would actually go get to see something that my mom, loved so dearly. And so I remember that night we dressed up and went to the Michigan Theater, and we walked in, and I'm looking around, the organ's playing, and I thought, well, if the organ's playing, this has to be really important. And so I was really getting into this vibe of what it was like to see kind of this adult movie with my mom. And so I'm looking around and I'm seeing, college students, and I'm seeing older adults and people my mom's age. And I didn't see a lot of me. There weren't any other kids there that I recall. But I was just feeling the excitement of what was about to happen. And as the movie started, the lights went down and the movie starts. And I remember as Humphrey Bogart walks out onto the screen, that the place erupts in applause and cheering. And when I was raised as a kid that when you go to the movies, you're quiet and respectful because you don't want your actions to somehow negatively impose on somebody else's experience. And so I was taken aback at first, like, why is everybody being so loud right now? And as the movie progressed, as other characters came onto the screen that were famous, there was cheering, as famous lines were being recited, people were reciting the lines with the actors on the screen, and I'm looking around going, this is fantastic, right? And everyone's so happy. And I think one of my favorite memories of that night was when the Nazis came onto the screen. And I had followed the story well enough. I was younger, but I knew what was happening. But like everybody knows that Nazis are bad, right? And so once the Nazis came onto the screen and everyone just starts booing and hissing, and I realized that this was my chance to participate. And so I started booing and hissing, and then it was something that it took theater to a different level for me, because instead of being something that I was just watching, I was now participating in the theater collectively with an entire audience. And as the movie continued on, the emotions were rising and falling as the scenes were going through. And when it finally came to a close, I just remember looking around and seeing a room full of people that were not like me, but yet we were all somehow connected because of this experience. And the arts, what has really stuck with me from that time of my life moving forward is the importance that the arts can play, in our lives, and I'm grateful for that. And I am so grateful for places like the Michigan Theater, which provide opportunities for us to learn and to also be connected, sometimes with strangers, sometimes with friends, but through some fabulous opportunities to experience what people have created. I truly believe in the Michigan Theater because I believe in the role that the arts play in our community. They enrich us, they help us to grow, they help us to better understand things beyond our own experiences. And in order for us to be able to appreciate the arts, we need places that provide those opportunities. And so for me, supporting the Michigan Theater is something which is absolutely pivotal, because without these places, then it's a lot harder for the arts to exist. So a number of years later, many years later, it was probably about 5 years ago, I saw that the movie, the Monty Python's The Holy Grail, was coming to the Michigan Theater. And as a child, The Holy Grail was one of my all-time favorites, and it continues to be to this day. And my son, who has a similar sense of humor, also loves The Holy Grail. And so I asked him if he wanted to go to a later showing of that movie at the theater, and he was beyond excited. So I remember we both dressed up and we showed up to the theater, and as we walked in, I didn't prepare him for it because I wanted him to be surprised, but I had a feeling of what it was going to be like. And we show up, and there are people in costumes dressed up like individuals from the movie. There are people with coconuts, getting ready to make the sound effects as the movie happens. And he too was, of the mindset of you can laugh and you can smile, but you don't want to impose. And so as the movie started, the opening scene where you hear the coconuts clapping and people are making the sounds with their hands or with the coconuts that they brought, and he's looking around going, this is fantastic. And as the movie progressed, same thing to what I experienced when I was a child seeing Casablanca, was that people were cheering, they were reciting the lines, there was applause, there was laughter. And I remember watching him, he was watching the audience as much as he was watching the movie, because he was sensing that he was connected to the people in that movie theater. And watching him look at me, and when a really important or favorite line of his was coming up, he would look over and tug at my sleeve and be like, here it comes. So, the movie finished and he's walking on cloud nine. I mean, it was something that he had never experienced anything like that to that point. And it was a fabulous feeling for me, because it was kind of coming full circle. The Michigan Theater had provided this phenomenal opportunity for me to experience the theater collectively. And all these years later, the Michigan Theater provided me an opportunity to give my son that same experience. And to this day, we talk about that night. And we look forward to seeing what movies are going to be playing here at the Michigan moving forward, hoping that we can live out a similar experience, over and over again. So, my family absolutely loves this theater, and for the memories that we've been able to have while we're here.